Kumlan about Gemara. This is the Gemara of Purim. Daf Chav Hey Amud Aleph. We are up to the Gemara, and the Mishnah told us we found money inside a purse, so we found payers inside a keli. Once the person gives you a simon on the keli, you give him all back to him. Says the Gemara, time. The only reason is the matzah paid because you found the favor in the keli. Because you found the money in the purse. Ha keli lefana payers. But if you found the keli and in front of it was fruits or kis, a purse, in front of it is money, in all these cases, you can keep it. In other words, if the fruits is outside the keli, even though you have identifying mark for the keli, you don't get the fruits with it. You don't get the money with the purse. We say that the fruits and the money are totally unassociated with the keli. Tanina laha, we actually learned this in the rice. I thought we learned much of kli on a petty. You found the kli in front of it with fruits, kisel in front of it with money. You can keep them. Miktsasam bekli or miktsasam gabakaki. We found some of the fruits that say was inside the pot and some of it was lying outside. Miktsasam bekis or miktsasam gabakaki. We found some of the money inside the purse, some of it lying outside. Then chayiv lahachlis. Then it's clear that the money of the fruits came from this purse. So meanwhile, that's a question from a second brisa. So in this brisa, it says if the fruits are outside the keli, the money's outside the keli, they have nothing to do with the keli. You give the keli back to the owner, you keep the rest, the fruit and the money. But meanwhile, that's a question from the brisa. Motzad davar she'ein by siman, bitzad davar she'yesh by siman. You found something that has no siman alongside something that has a siman. Chayiv lahachris. It says clearly here, if you found money next to a purse, if the person can identify the purse, you got to give that person back the money. Baal siman, but not if the owner of the purse came along and said, "No, the money's not mine, just the purse." Then zochalah b'davar she'ein by siman. Then the person who found it gets to keep the money. Contradiction. So Gemara will give a number of answers how to reconcile these two brises. But they're not arguing, they're talking about different cases. Ravzid first answer. Like Kasha. Bikuva vikista. Here we're talking about a barrel and flax. By a barrel and flax, we're going to say that surely that this flax did not come out from this barrel. Because if it did, some of it will remain behind. How come all of it is out? So therefore, it must be that has nothing to do with this barrel. That's our brisa on top of the page. And Habetzana paid it, the next brisa. And even though the next brisa that says that if you found it then next to it, it came from there, is talking about a basket with fruits. And fruits, it's highly likely that that all the fruits fell out of the keli. Other Rishonim learn exactly the opposite. They said that flax is one piece, so therefore, if it fell out, all of it should, if it's one piece, it makes sense why all of it falls out. But by fruits, if it therefore came from the keli, but by fruits, if it came from the keli, then some of the fruits have still been left behind. Anyway, that's one answer. Now Papa says no. How about Batzana pay? They're all talking about a basket of fruits. So like kasha. If some of the coins still remained inside the purse, then you know that the rest that's outside came from there. And that's when the second brisa says. And our first brisa is talking about nothing's left behind, so therefore it's not related to the keli. But the third answer, nothing's left behind. Like kasha. If the purse, the opening of the purse or opening of the keli is facing where the fruits are, then probably the fruits came from there. Here's talking about that the fruits do not, that's not facing the fruits, or it's facing the other direction, then the fruits probably didn't come from there. My fourth answer, they're all facing. But like kasha. If there was a rim to it, which means it should have held something back, and nothing was held back, that means the fruits did not come from there. Litzana to the basket. Here's talking about where there was no rim to the basket, then it makes sense why all the fruits fell out, but really they came from this basket originally. Then we continue. Tzibure paid tzibure moya. You found bundles. Tzibure paid tzibure moya. You found a bundle of fruits, a bundle of money. Shamet minay. So what exactly is the simon? Sminya is simon. That the number is a simon. It tells you how many fruits were there in the bundle, how much money. We already know from before that minyan is a simon, but now we're bringing a proof from a Mishnah. Says the Gemara, no proof. Maybe Tini learn. Sorry, the minyan right now is how it says tziburi in plural. How many bundles was it? Was it one bundle, two bundles, three bundles? That's the Gemara. No, Tini read the Mishnah as if it says tzibur pair. There's only one bundle of fruits. So the Gemara says, okay, then shamin and makom simon. What's a simon? Must be the place. Was it no? And that will be a proof to Rava that makom is a place. No, maybe tzini tzibur pair. Maybe it's plural and it's the minyan. In other words, you cannot prove one way or another. You have three coins on top of each other. It comes along after Yitzchak Migdalah. That Yitzchak Migdalah says, it has to be like a tower. Tower means that the bottom one is the widest, and then the middle one is a bit narrower, and the top one is much narrower. So you have there a tower, like a pyramid. I was just told that there were the people who the Bava Shabbos should talk every Shabbos, and they would record it and they would write a sicha, and then when they put it out, they always tried to find references. So the Rebbe then said that there's an Amoira that is the name of the Amoira is the only halacha that this Amoira said, and therefore they called the Amoira by that name. And they were looking at all these different reference books, they couldn't find such an Amoira. So somebody told them to go ask my father. So they did. And my father told them straight away, this Gemara right here. Rabbi Yitzchak's name was Rabbi Yitzchak Migdalah. Migdalah was his last name. Why was he called Migdalah? Because he's the one who said that these three coins have to be like a pyramid, like a tower, a migdal. So he became known as Rabbi Yitzchak Migdalah. And it's the only time he's mentioned in Shas. And his name was basically the name of the halacha that he gave. Taina Malchi, we learned. So that's the simon. The simon is that it's like a pyramid. So the Gemara, no, and the idea is that because of the pyramid, definitely the guys it wasn't lost, it wasn't dropped. It's impossible to land this way. Obviously, it was placed there. He's planning to come back. So therefore, no, but he forgot to come back. So you have to take it and make an announcement, and he'll come and give you a simon. And it'll tell you at this stage, we think what it'll tell you is that it was shaped like a tower. Like a tower. The Elohim singing what do you mean look like a tower? Shloisha 3 coins, one on top of another. The Hagu Vakasha. You see the contradiction. Amrit, you start saying of Matzah Mois was only the money is scattered at Shloi. Sounds like it wasn't scattered. Let's say they're overlapping. Doesn't have to be any particular shape, but they're overlapping. Then you have to announce and look for the owner. There's overlapping. Then you say the only time that you have to look for the owner is if when Asurin Migdalim. If it's made like a tower, so then definitely was placed there. But if it's just overlapping, so Tony more explains, no. If it's not shaped like a tower, if it's not placed like a tower, then if it's Zoda's color, they're called scattered, and you can keep them. Amar Rabbi Chanina comes along, Rabbi Chanina, and he says, Lo yishanu ella shel shloishim malachim. We say 3 coins, we mean 3 coins of 3 kings. So every king, mints the coins differently. They put their names on it and so on and so forth. But if it's right now we think you mean, but if it's made out of one, if it's say the same king, the same government, then you don't have to make the announcement. That's what he says. Simora doesn't tries to understand. If it's from one government, but it's 3 different sizes and therefore it's like a tower, then official who cares if it's one government or 3 governments? The idea is that it was placed there, it didn't fall down, and there's an owner, and you forgot to pick it up, so you have to, find the owner and give it back to them. What's the difference? If let's say it's not medical tower, they all have the same shape and everything, then who cares if it's these different governments and different writings on it? And I feel they don't have to give back even 3. This is what Rabbi Chanina said. Only if it's one government, as if it's even one government, but it has to be like 3 governments. Now, what is that the dimensions are different, so it's like a tower, a pyramid, and therefore it's clear that it was placed, it's impossible to fall down in this particular way. The Heichi Domi Dasing, now the Gemara spells out precisely what it means. Revicha Tata, the widest one is on the bottom, Metzia Alava, and then the middle-sized one is on top of that. Vizuta, the smallest one, is on top of that. Metzia, Damrina, we say, Eloy Metzia, it's on top of the middle one. Damrina, we say, there's no question, Anuche Anchine, it was placed there deliberately. But if it's all the same size, the Kulike Hadodi, all the same size, Afagav the Manche Hadodi, even if they fall, even if they're on top of each other, we say it's possible they just fell down. If it's the same size, it's possible that they fell down. But here, that they should fall on top of each other, and that and specifically in this format, that the bottom one is the widest and the narrower, that's practically impossible. And therefore, that's the only, according to Chanina, that's the only time that we, even though there's no simon, we'll say that itself is a simon. But Rabbi Yechanan disagrees. Rabbi Yechanan says even to have 3 the same coins fall on top of each other is highly unlikely, and that's a simon. Rabbi Yechanan, My machris. Now the question, my machris, what exactly is a simon? According to many who understood Rashi, is only a question of Yechon. Because according to Chanina, the very fact that it was shaped like a pyramid, that's the simon. You don't need more than that. But Rabbi Yechon, all the coins are the same. So therefore the question is, so what's the simon? My machris. Minyan, what he calls out is the number, how many coins it was. Or he says, I found 3 coins, and the guy has to say, oh, you know how you found them? They're one on top of each other. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yechon holds, even 3 coins, they were put down there. If so, you don't need it a wider and a narrow Rabbi Yechon, it's all the same shape. Then I feel even if it's 2 coins. Even if it's 2 coins, let them come over and say, you found coins, but you found them one on top of the other. Because it must have been put down, it couldn't fall down. So he remembers. Because you say coins, everyone knows the minimum amount of coins is 2. So if he comes along and says 2, it's a guess. Doesn't prove that it says 3 already, is not included in the word coins. Says the Gemara, boy Ravim, of course Ravim has to come and ask his questions. He asks as follows. Kishirma, what happens if it's a circle, like a bracelet? Is that possible that it happened to fall down, or that had to be placed there and therefore you should have to find the owner? Keshurima, what about if it's like a straight row? Kechatsuva mao, what happens like a tripod or like a segel, a triangle? Kisula mao, what about if it's like a ladder, where the middle one, the majority of it is on the bottom coin, and the third one, the majority of it is on the second coin. So it's not straight on top of each other like a pyramid. They're sort of going like steps. What's the din? So what I said, in all these cases, do we assume that it was placed there, therefore you have to announce and find the owner or not? So let's teach resolve 1. If you place a little piece of splinter or something, and you all 3 come up together, then it's like 1 coin and like 1 set, and then you have to announce it because it looks like it was placed there deliberately, and therefore you should find the owner. Rashi has a question. What about Avnei Beis Kulis, shaped like Avnei Beis Kulis, which we'll see in a minute what that is. Kulis is the name of an idol, and there's a whole discussion if you're allowed to ever use the name of an idol or not. And here the Gemara sometimes does use the names of idols, and the real name is Kulis, even though many times we use the word Mar Kulis. Mar Kulis is because we didn't really want to use the name Kulis, so we use the word Mar Kulis. Because the word kulis is in Aramaic means to praise, from kilus. So the Rabbanan didn't want to have the word praise, and therefore they add mar kulis. Mar means bitter, and therefore they sort of try to denigrate it. But here the Gemara calls it Beis Kulis. But if Ka'avni Beis Kulis, shaped like Avni Beis Kulis, chayiv lahachnis, you have to announce it because it's a simon. So what exactly is it? What is it? You have 1 on each side and 1 on top, straddling both stones. That's what we learned. How much is you found the coin in the street, in the market, and you counted your friend, and your friend said, "Hey, Shali, it's mine. Chadosh, I'll prove it to you. It's a brand new coin. Neroina, see the King Nero Caesar is the images on the coin. Shamela playing from that king. Loyamaklum. That's not a sign. Now, why not? Even you wrote your money on it. You know why? There's no simon when it comes to coins. The Amar, because we say, Dilma Afuki, once upon a time you had it, but you spent it. Because you spent it, somebody else might have used it, belonged to somebody else. Obviously, when it comes to Rebbe's dollars that people don't spend and they write on it, and that would be a simon because it's not anymore currency that we use. Mishnah. Motzah, you found acharagapa. So we have a concept where it was clear somebody put it down in a very protected place. We had before Tamil Bashba. Then we have in a place that's exposed. And then we have something in between, which is you put it in a protected place, but it's not really that well protected. It's easily found by other people, but it's to a certain extent protected, as if to say, maybe the guy will come back, maybe not. Says the Mishnah, you found it behind this wooden fence, or you found it behind a fence made out of stones. Geisel, what you found was Geisel Mikashari. You found these birds that were tied together. Now, the birds tied together, as we'll see, in itself is not a simon, but you found it in a protected place, or semi-protected place, quasi-protected place. You found it in a trail amongst the fields. Don't touch it. Because it's a semi-protected place, it seems the owner's going to come back. But there's no simon. If you pick it up, the owner will never be able to give you a simon, and you can't just give it back willingly to anybody who says it's his, because maybe it really belongs to somebody else, and you're stealing now from somebody else. Leave it there. You found a utensil in the tip. If it's covered like you, don't touch it. If it's open, then it has a simon. You go out there and find the true owner. Says the Gemara. My time, what's the reason? Marina and Hani Inish, I've said the reason why you shouldn't touch it is because probably the owner hid it. The shokla, once you take it, the owner has no simon in the birds. Therefore, the shafkina leave it there. The owner comes back with shokla and will take it. Says the Gemara, why there's no simon? You just said they were tied together. Why isn't that a simon? They're not. Because they're all tied together by the wings, and it seems it was coming. That's how they transported the birds. The everyone does the same thing. At least that place where you found it, let that be the simon. Pick it up, take it home, and say, I found birds, and the guy will tell you if they placed it where they put it. They're jumping around. They're no longer in the original place where they were. Even madadin, if they're jumping around, then maybe it's wise that don't pick it up. Then the good possibility came from who knows where. Be permitted. Says the Gemara, you're right. Maybe it came from who knows where. Could be somebody put away. Remember, it's a quasi-protected place. This is called a suffix, whether it was put there deliberately or not. Whenever there's a suffix, don't take it. If it's a questionable, maybe the owner put it down there, don't take it. Because you don't know who to give it back to. There's no real simon. But if you did take it, don't put it back. Now, what do you mean if you did take it, don't put it back? Some Rishonim say, if you took it and brought it home, then don't bring it back, because it could be in the interim period, the owner came by, looked at it, looked for it, and he couldn't find it. So therefore, don't put it back. Hold it by you, because maybe the owner will go out looking. Others say he's talking about even if you were standing there, the moment you picked it up, you have a mitzvah of hashavas aveda. So you cannot put it back, because you then will be over that mitzvah of hashavas aveda. Even when you're standing the whole time, you haven't touched, moved. So if you see something with that's semi-protected, and the possibility the owner will come back, that means he wasn't miyayish. Even though it has no simon, you're not allowed to take it. The owner wasn't miyayish. Don't take it, because if you take it, you'll never be able to fulfill the mitzvah of Shabbos Aveda. You found the keli in the tip. If it was hidden, don't touch it. Megul, if it's revealed, then you. But Amin will ask a question. It says elsewhere, you found it hidden in the ashpa. You do announce it. Shekain derech ashpa lefanos. You do announce it because it's common for these tips to be cleared out. And here we're saying over here, don't touch it. Not a problem. Bikubi, Vikasi. Here we're talking about things that were placed there deliberately, then don't touch it. Besakini, the barrels and cups. Besakini, the hamdik. Here we're talking about knives. And because we're talking about small knives or hamdik, some other kind of kitchen utensil, because they're small, it's possible they were just lost. So therefore, the owner doesn't even know about it. So if there's a simon, you go pick it up and announce it. The Gemara spells it out. The could be because you don't touch it. Go find the owners, because the owner doesn't know that he lost it. Now, Papa, my we could be talking about both of them, a barrel and a couple of kasha. Can ba ashpa lefanas. If it's an ashpa that generally they clear out, they don't leave it there because it'll get lost. The owner the owner of the tip might just throw it and not even notice it or keep it. But if there's a place they don't normally clear out, and the owner might come back for it, leave it there. Ashpa, more ask, Ashpa lefanas, if it's a place that generally they clear out, why do you have to make an announcement to find the owner? If the owner left it there, then obviously he doesn't care. He's like throwing it away. Aveda medas, he's like these three, he wants to get rid of it. So the Gemara explains, you're right. Like our Papa said, we said before. But Ashpa shein asur lefanas, well, you're right. We're talking about definitely, he put it there thinking it'll be there for a long time. So if it will be there for a long time, don't touch it. But if it won't be there for a long time, for example, the owner of the tip decided, change his mind, I'm going to clear it now. and therefore then you have a Shabbos Aveda, pick it up and try to find the owner. Bishleimer the Rav Papa makes sense according to Rav Papa. Heinrich Tony says Shekain Derech Ashbel Fan. Says that's why it's common for the owner to change their mind. According to Rav Zvid, that just makes a difference between what kind of utensil it was. My Shekain Derech Ashbel Fan. What's the relevance of that? So we answer Shekain Derech Ashbel Fan is lo kelim tanim. He makes a difference between large kalim and small kalim. By small kalim, they generally get rid of it. So therefore, and the owner probably is not even aware that it's there. So therefore, you should take it and try to find the owner. Let's just do the Mishnah. Matzah begal. If let's say you found there's a pile of stones and you found an object there from a wall that fell down, because of an old wall, had a elu shaloi, you can keep it because it's ancient. Whoever it is in miyash. Matzah bekaisel chadash, you found it in a brand new wall. Mechetze shel chutz shaloi. If you found it on the half of the wall that's closer to the public street, then you can keep it. Mechetzel thing, you found it in the wall facing the house, closer to the house, then Shabbat Bais, because maybe he uses it for storage. Im hoya maskir lachedim, but he was renting it out to other people. Then afilu b'techa bais, even if he found it in the house, so we have no idea whose it is. Then had elu shaloi, you can keep it. I'm going to know about this on Monday morning in Mitzvah Hashem on Shushan Purim, 6 o'clock. Have a Freilich Purim.